What's up guys, welcome back. I know I've been away for a while, but life gets a little busy sometimes, but today we're making an umami burger. Now, umami is one of the 5 basic tastes. You have sweetness, sourness, saltiness, and bitterness, and the 5th being umami. So today, we're gonna assemble some flavors that are super umami, AKA a savory taste. So let's get into it. You may be asking yourself, what is umami? The reality is, umami has a molecule called glutamate, and it actually shares that molecule with MSG. And if you break MSG down, it is monosodium glutamate. Now, MSG usually has more of a negative connotation, and glutamate in umami has more of a positive one. But if you break it down, they actually activate the same taste receptors in your mouth. So today, we're gonna do away with MSG and we're gonna use umami-rich foods to make this burger. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna make some umami dust. Now, if you haven't heard it before, you're not the only one. It's gonna be a combination of some porcini mushrooms, some chili powder, onion powder, garlic powder, a little bit of mustard, salt, and pepper. And we're gonna use that to sprinkle over the burgers before we cook them. It's gonna impart some great flavor. So let's go ahead and get that together. Okay, so you're just gonna wanna take a handful of some porcini mushrooms. You don't really need to measure it out too much. So about that much. I think I got, it doesn't say, but I think I got like 50 grams. So maybe we'll throw half that, maybe a little bit more, into the grinder. Actually, just throw it over here. Porcini mushrooms, now if you haven't had dried mushrooms before, like the flavor is so much more intense than if you were to get these mushrooms fresh. And there is so much umami just right here, it's insane. So try it out if you haven't done it before. Anyways, we're gonna throw in some garlic powder, some onion powder. Now you don't need to measure. I'm gonna say like maybe, oh, that's dry. Doesn't matter if it's chunky because we're gonna blend it up. So like a teaspoon and a bit of onion powder. Teaspoon garlic powder, dried mustard. We'll probably do maybe like a teaspoon of dried mustard as well. And then some chili powder, teaspoon of that. Also, gonna hit it with some sea salt, maybe 2 teaspoons of sea salt, and some fresh cracked black pepper. Teaspoon of that. Now, that's it. So, throw it in your blender, magic bullet, whatever you got, blend it up. Now we probably blended it for probably 30 seconds. Just those dried mushrooms just break right up. And now you're left with just that nice umami dust. And it's crazy. It's kind of got like, kind of a, that's insanity. It's very similar to like the mushroom seasoning pack that you get in a Mr. Noodles or an Ichiban. It's just packed full of flavor, and we didn't add any flavor enhancers. These are all natural dried seasonings. So go ahead, got that done, put it aside. Okay guys, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get an onion jam on the stovetop because it's gonna take some time to cook. We wanna get it started so we can have some time for other things. What you wanna do is cut up 1 sweet white onion, half a cup of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of red wine vinegar, pinch of salt, throw it on the stovetop, medium low. It's gonna cook for 25 to 30 minutes, and it's gonna be an awesome accompaniment for this burger. Okay, next up, now that we have the onion jam starting to sweat on the stovetop, we're gonna go ahead and get the garnishes ready for the burger. Now on the burger today, we're gonna use some of these meaty green olives. Now these have a super dense texture and they have just a nice saltiness and a little bit of bitterness. And then the sun-dried tomatoes, they have that sweetness, saltiness as well, but they also have, they're packed with umami, and they have sort of a meaty texture and flavor. So we're gonna throw these into our patties and mix it all together. Okay, now that we have the onion jam on the stovetop cooking away, it's gonna take, like I said before, 25 to 30 minutes. We have the garnish for the burgers cut up, waiting to get thrown together. We also have the umami dust done. What we have to do now is lay our bacon out in the tray and get it into the oven, so it'll be nice and crispy by the time everything else is done. So let's just go ahead, and I picked up some thick cut bacon from the butcher. It's a maple smoke, so it's got that sweetness factor. It's got the saltiness. So bacon by itself is one of the foods that is just packed with umami flavor. So we're just gonna go ahead, lay it out, throw it in the oven. Okay, so now that we have all those things out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and form our burger patties. Now, I wanted to get lamb today, but they didn't have any fresh lamb. It was all frozen, and I didn't have the time to wait around for it to thaw out. So we got 80-20 ground chuck and sirloin. I have 2 pounds here. I'm probably not gonna use it all. Maybe we'll go ahead and use 1.5 pounds. So we'll just go ahead and throw it in to our olive and sun-dried tomato mixture. We're gonna make 4 burgers today. So just go ahead, throw it in there, and mix it together just enough to incorporate. And we're gonna leave our seasonings till the end. So it can just be loosely incorporated. It's gonna give you room for more like crooks and crannies in the burger. And you're gonna get little crispy bits. You know, the olives and sun-dried tomatoes aren't gonna completely incorporate, but that's cool. It's exactly what I want. So I'm just gonna pat these out a little bit thinner, and then they'll be ready to go. Now remember, when you're forming your patties, you want the diameter to be a little bit bigger than the diameter of your bun, because when you cook them, all the proteins are gonna contract and the burger's gonna shrink. So just keep that in mind when you're forming your patties. That's it, so don't be too concerned if you don't have perfect circular patties. It's all meat, it's all there, it's all gonna taste good. So now that you have your burgers formed, go ahead, set them off to the side. If you're gonna cook them right away, do not throw them in the fridge. You wanna cook them for as close to room temperature as you can. So now that you're all formed up, set them off to the side. So now we're gonna go ahead and make the roasted pecan nutritional yeast. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and make the roasted pecan nutritional yeast dressing for our kale accompaniment to this burger. So the kale is gonna bring a green component. Kale, you may or may not know, is super meaty, it's a superfood, it's definitely got an umami taste to it. So we're gonna go ahead, add some roasted pecans, nutritional yeast, okay, so you want to go ahead, and I just really do this by eye. You can have it all measured out if you want to. In my cookbook, the recipe, it will be. So just go ahead and add a handful of roasted pecans. You can do this in your blender or RoboCoop, Vitamix. And now I like to add equal amounts of nutritional yeast, or maybe a little bit more. This is really the star of this dressing. And then you want to go ahead and have your lemon ready. And I went ahead off camera earlier and I roasted a bulb of garlic. Just want to go ahead, open it up, and grab a couple cloves. Look at how soft they are. Just squeeze them out, throw them in. The garlic also has a really umami flavor to it, especially when you've roasted it. So we'll go ahead and throw in 3 garlic cloves. Now we're gonna go ahead to that, add half a lemon. And then from that, we're gonna add about 3/4 of a cup of olive oil. Now once you've got everything together, actually we're gonna hit it with some salt and then some fresh cracked black pepper, a teaspoon of this as well. Then just go ahead, blend it all together. Okay, so this dressing, it's not gonna be like kind of a regular oil and vinegar dressing. It's gonna be a lot thicker because it's got the pecans nutritional yeast into it. Well, that's what you're looking for, because with the kale, you want this dressing to coat all the leaves and it's gonna stick to the leaves. And being that it's kale, its leaves are more robust and more meaty and more fibrous, and they can withstand a dressing like this. As opposed to if you use it with other lettuces, they would just crumble it, or not crumble, but just like roll up into a ball. But okay, so one of the last accompaniments we're gonna have for this burger today is gonna be roasted garlic and Marmite Aioli. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Marmite, it's similar to Vegemite, and it's like an Australian spread. Now, and it's really, it also smells like Mr. Noodle flavor packs, if we're perfectly honest. But I don't know, it's a really interesting flavor. It's really savory. And if you use it sparingly, because it's quite salty. So we're gonna go ahead and make an aioli, and I'll put the recipe on the screen. And I'm gonna try it for the first time in this magic bullet. I don't know if it's gonna work out, but we're gonna try it. So we're gonna go ahead and start with 2 egg yolks. And I go heavy on the egg yolks because it makes it a little bit easier for the oil to incorporate and hold without splitting. 2 egg yolks. Now to that, I'm gonna add like a tablespoon of lemon juice. Squeeze it all in there, try not to eat your seeds. We're just going to froth that up in the magic bullet first, just because this might be a little bit different of a process as opposed to if you're using your Vitamix or some sort of stand-up blender. So we're gonna see how this works out. A little bit of olive oil. So that's sick. It does work. So you can make aioli in the Vitamix. What I did there, I didn't really show it. So I probably put 2 tablespoons of olive oil in to the 2 egg yolks and lemon juice, put it on the magic bullet, let it blend for probably a minute and a half. Then I added a little bit more oil and then a little bit more oil. So you have to do it in stages as opposed to drizzling it in when you do it in your Vitamix or another blender. But it does work. So what we're gonna go ahead and add to it now, Dijon mustard. This is just gonna make your classic aioli. To that, we're going to add some more of this awesome roasted garlic. You can see how much sugar is in garlic by how much it's caramelized and how sticky it is. And now we're gonna add Vegemite. Now, be sparingly with this. This is the consistency we're talking about. It's kind of like the consistency of molasses. It's a real interesting flavor. Maybe that's even too much, so we'll do like half of that. And just a little bit of salt because the Vegemite, or the Marmite. The Marmite is salty on its own. That's not on there properly. Spewing out everywhere. You know what, save yourself some trouble if you have a stand-up blender or a Vitamix, just use that. But now that we're all together, give it one last blend. Okay, so we've got it all blended up. It's got a real savory flavor to it. You can taste the roasted garlic. You get the Marmite, but it's like more of like a saltiness. It's good. I mean, all right, so now we're gonna make some Parm crisps because Parm is awesome and Parm has umami as well. So it's got a saltiness and a savoriness all on its own, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make some Parmesan crisps for these burgers. So you just go ahead. We're gonna have to make some room because our bacon's still chilling. Actually, we'll just go right under it. And those Parm crisps at 375 will probably take, I don't know, 8 to 10 minutes. Just keep an eye on them. Okay, so now you got a cast iron pan. Obviously, this burger would be better if we did it out in the barbecue or if we did it on a charcoal briquette or something like that, just to get impart more smoky flavor. It's just gonna enhance all the flavors that we have going on. You get more caramelization or whatever, but it's too nasty outside and there's no way we're gonna use the barbecue. So today we're gonna use a cast iron. As you can see, we've got it to its smoking temperature. So we're gonna go ahead and take our umami dust that we made earlier, and now it's got salt in it as well and pepper. So we're gonna go ahead and season our patties. Then we're gonna go ahead and get it right into our pan. Now cast iron, pans get super hot, the handles get super hot as well. And sorry for it being loud, but we have to turn the fan on so the smoke alarms don't go off. Add a little bit more oil. I'm just using a vegetable oil because vegetable oil has a little bit higher smoking temperature. It's probably been about 2.5 to 3 minutes, so we can go ahead and flip the burger. Bacon check. You fucking mint.
Oh no! Oh no!
That's why you don't mess around, guys. You gotta wear oven mitts. Hot oil and messing around. Don't mix. Parm crisp check. Oh god, I can't get them. Smoke alarms be going off like crazy. I'm honestly getting carried away. There's a lot of things happening right now. Okay, so I took a little bit of time off camera earlier and I cleaned up some kale. Now this is just your regular green kale. And as you can see, I mean, if you're unfamiliar with kale, just how robust kale is as a green and just all the fibers it has in it. So it can hold up to a lot of heavy dressings. So you just want to go ahead and take the stalk out. And now the roasted pecan nutritional yeast dressing. You can be pretty liberal. Remember, you can always add more. And you can use your hands, but I'm just going to fold it in. So when you have it like this, go ahead. Fucking mint.
How's your thumb?
Not bad. I don't want to show people that. take your buns, and we took a little bit of the bacon fat. So we're just gonna go ahead, toast our buns. All right, so time's finally here. We've got everything done. Now this is our onion jam. Oh, fuck. All right, everything is finally ready. We finished our onion jam. Turned out beautifully. We've got our roasted garlic and Marmite Aioli. Our burgers, our Parmesan Crisps, our double thick smoked bacon, and our roasted pecan and nutritional yeast kale. So let's go ahead and build our burgers. All right, guys, I'm super pumped. We've done all our beauty shots. Now it's time to try this burger. Now it's, I had an idea in my mind how it would turn out, but it's definitely surpassed my expectations. We got the Parmesan Crisps, we got the double smoked thick cut bacon, we got our olives and our sun-dried tomatoes, our Marmite Aioli, and the onion jam, and the roasted pecan nutritional yeast kale salad. Anyways, let's try it. That's incredible. I'm not even joking. That onion jam comes through so much. The crisp bacon, that Parmesan pulls through. This is unreal burger. Look at how juicy it is. Insanity. Probably one of the best burgers I've made on this channel. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go to town on this burger. Thank you for watching. Sorry I haven't posted in a while, I've been busy. You know, if you enjoyed the show, hit that like button. Subscribe if you wanna see more. I don't know how consistently I'm gonna be posting in the near future, but it's definitely always in the back of my mind. So, anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed. Have a good night. Peace.